Rowan!
After getting expelled from school, Wednesday Addams is sent to Nevermore Academy by her parents, Morticia and Gomez. Led by Principal Weems and located near the rural town of Jericho, Nevermore is a boarding school created to educate misfits, outcasts, and children of supernatural talent. When Wednesday arrives, she meets her eccentric roommate, Enid Sinclair, a werewolf student who still hasn't experienced her first transformation. Wednesday is also visited by the red boot-wearing science teacher and dorm mom, Miss Thornhill. Before her parents leave, Wednesday's mother gives her a lucky necklace and advises her to keep it close. During a campus tour, Enid points out the various cliques of the school, including the Fangs, Furs, Scales, and Stoners, which are vampires, werewolves, sirens, and gorgons respectively. That said, high school drama is the least of Wednesday's worries, as she is plagued by painful psychic visions. Things become even foreboding when Jericho's lawman, Sheriff Galpin, discovers the mangled corpse of a hiker in the nearby woods, adding to a string of deaths that he believes are linked to the school. Back at Nevermore, Wednesday starts to butt heads with popular girl Bianca Barclay, and is almost killed by a falling gargoyle statue. But her classmate Xavier Thorpe saves her in the nick of time. Later, while recovering and writing her novel in her dorm room, Wednesday also discovers the Thing, a sentient, dismembered hand that her parents have left to secretly supervise her. Threatening to lock it in a drawer, Wednesday strikes a deal with Thing, gaining a loyal follower and literal helping hand. A few days before the local Harvest Festival, Wednesday attends her court-mandated therapy sessions with Dr. Kimbett in Jericho, but sneaks out and stops by a coffee shop. There, she meets Tyler, the barista and son of Sheriff Galpin. Although Tyler is instantly smitten with Wednesday, his father expresses disapproval and claims Wednesday's father is a murderer. At the festival, Tyler gives Wednesday a copy of her father's criminal record, hoping it will help. While running away from a group of bullies, Wednesday bumps into a classmate named Rowan and has a vision of his imminent death. So she follows him into the woods. Stressed and visibly unstable, Rowan attacks Wednesday, claiming that she will destroy the school and showing a tattered book page as proof of an ancient prophecy. Suddenly, Rowan is brutally mauled by a massive supernatural beast, which spares Wednesday and scurries off into the woods. Safe from harm and with the page in her possession, Wednesday reflects on her first week at Nevermore and looks forward to many mysteries that the semester will bring. The festivities continue at Nevermore Academy as the students prepare for the Poe Cup, a no-rules canoe and foot race dedicated to the iconic and spooky poet. However, things take an unexpected turn for Wednesday when Rowan suddenly appears at school, alive and unharmed. Although everyone thinks Wednesday is lying about the monster in the woods, Tyler believes her, offering a bit of comfort. Later on, Principal Weems confronts Wednesday about her psychic visions and informs her that Rowan has been expelled for reasons unknown. Leaving the school, Rowan heads to Burlington train station, but makes a stop in the bathroom where he changes appearance, eventually transforming into Principal Weems. While exploring the woods for clues, Wednesday and Tyler find Rowan's broken glasses, which triggers a vision. In it, Wednesday gets a glimpse of the book that Rowan obsessed over, and eventually discovers that the book has ties to a secret student society called the Nightshades. Later, after helping Enid and her team win the Poe Cup race and humiliating Bianca in the process, Wednesday notices the Nightshade sigil on a statue of Edgar Allan Poe. Under the cover of night, she investigates and uncovers a hidden passage, which leads underground into the Nightshade's secret library. Checking out the shelves, Wednesday locates the book from her visions, but before she can examine it further, she is ambushed by the Nightshades. Restrained to a chair, Wednesday quickly realizes that the group of masked captors are some of her fellow classmates, including Bianca and Xavier. After a brief interrogation, Xavier suggests that Wednesday should join the Nightshades, but surprisingly, she declines. The next morning, the school celebrates Outreach Day, which involves local volunteering and the unveiling of a new statue in Jericho's town square. Meanwhile, Wednesday digs into her newfound book, eager to find clues. Thanks to some helpful information from Xavier, she learns that a man depicted in the book is Joseph Crackstone, the founder of Jericho. While Enid warms up to her crush Ajax at the antique shop, Wednesday volunteers at Pilgrim World, a local theme park dedicated to the town's first colonial settlement. There, she finds artifacts from Joseph Crackstone's family, including a painting of an old pilgrim meeting house, depicting a young girl from her visions. She also comes across a mysterious tome called the Book of Shadows, but learns that it's simply a replica, as the real one was stolen a month prior. Using directions from Tyler, Wednesday travels deep into the woods and finds the ruins of the house from the painting, where she is caught off guard by another vision. In it, she witnesses Joseph Crackstone and the other colonists executing a group of outcasts by mass burning, including Wednesday's great ancestor, Goody Addams. Luckily, Goody is able to escape during the chaos, as her friends and loved ones succumb to the flames. Waking up from the vision, Wednesday encounters the monster, which flees into the woods. Looking at the footprints left in the mud, she determines that the monster is human, or at the very least, can transform into one. Xavier finds her in the woods and offers some advice about her psychic visions, explaining that they can't be trusted and are driven by emotion rather than logic. Ending Outreach Day with a vengeful bang, Wednesday and Thing work together to burn the new statue of Joseph Crackstone, angering the suspicious Principal Weems. Later that night, the monster strikes again, this time killing a squatter at the old Pilgrim meeting house. However, in his final moments, the victim manages to capture a few photos of the creature, leaving some disturbing evidence for Sheriff Galpin. As most of Nevermore gets anxiously excited for the upcoming Raven dance, Wednesday continues her investigation and breaks into the coroner's office looking for evidence. While reviewing the collected clues with Enid in her dorm, she discovers that all previous victims of the monster had parts of their body surgically removed. Growing suspicious of Xavier, Wednesday follows him to a secluded shed in the woods, where she finds his private art studio full of drawings depicting the deadly monster. After recruiting her fellow bookkeeping club member Eugene into the investigation, the duo discovers the monster's lair in the woods and recover a broken claw. Using some hefty persuasion, Wednesday convinces Sheriff Galpin to compare the DNA between the claw and a bloody rag belonging to Xavier, but the results eventually come back as inconclusive. As Wednesday begrudgingly attends the dance with Tyler, Eugene goes into the woods alone and witnesses someone set fire to the monster's lair. Although some romantic drama crops up between Bianca, Xavier, Tyler, and Wednesday, everyone else is having a blast at the Raven. Unfortunately, it's not long before the local Jericho bullies take the opportunity to retaliate for the destruction of the Joseph Crackstone statue. Hijacking the fire sprinklers on the ceiling, they douse the dancers with red paint, resulting in a crimson shower from above. As chaos ensues, Wednesday has a vision of Eugene in danger and hurries to his aid. While Enid patches things up with Ajax and the pair share a kiss, unfortunately, by the time Wednesday locates Eugene in the forest, the monster has already attacked, leaving the boy gravely injured and comatose. When Morticia, Gomez, and her brother Pugsley visit the school for Parents' Weekend, Wednesday decides it's a good time to look into the rumors surrounding her father's supposedly murderous past with Nevermore. During a family therapy session, she confronts her father with his criminal file, which shows that he was accused of killing a wealthy Jericho socialite named Garrett Gates over 30 years ago. This greatly upsets Morticia, who calls an end to the session, but Wednesday vows to uncover the truth anyway. Feeling guilty for her part in Eugene's condition, Wednesday goes to visit him in the hospital, but he remains unresponsive. Back at Nevermore, lunch is interrupted by Sheriff Galpin, who arrests Gomez for Garrett's murder after new evidence comes to light. With her husband behind bars, Morticia finally admits the truth to Wednesday, that she killed Garrett in self-defense after he harassed and stalked her, but Gomez ended up taking the blame. However, something doesn't sound right about the story, so Wednesday exhumes Garrett's corpse in the middle of the night and discovers that he was poisoned, meaning both of her parents were not fully responsible for his death. Confident in their findings, Wednesday and Morticia confront the mayor of Jericho, Noble Walker, who was the sheriff at the time of the crime. He confesses to the conspiracy and reveals that Garrett was sent to the Raven Dance to poison the Nevermore students by his extremely rich and hateful father, but must have poisoned himself when the vial broke in his pocket. In exchange for covering things up, Walker was guaranteed power as mayor, living with the lie for decades. The Addams family agrees to keep Walker's secret, but only if he lets Gomez walk free with all criminal charges dropped. As Parents' Weekend comes to an end, Wednesday's relationship with her family is mostly mended, with her mother, father, and brother leaving Nevermore on good terms. Things can't stay calm for long, though, as Wednesday looks at an old yearbook and realizes that Principal Weems is a shapeshifter. Connecting the dots, she accuses the principal of covering up Rowan's death by shapeshifting into his form and convincing the rest of the students he was alive and expelled. Surprisingly, Weems admits to the cover-up, saying she only did it to protect the school. Before Wednesday can protest any further, a message written in flames on the lawn outside catches their attention, proclaiming that fire will reign at the school very, very soon. On Wednesday's birthday, her friends throw her a surprise party at the old Crackstone Crypt, but she's less than enthusiastic. However, things get more exciting when she finds a tomb marking that matches the fiery message on the lawn from Parents' Weekend and has a vision upon touching it. In the vision, Goody Addams shows Wednesday the old abandoned Gates family mansion and says it holds the key in stopping the Crackstone legacy. When Wednesday tries to follow Mayor Walker to learn more about the Gates mansion, he is suddenly hit by a car, leaving him in critical condition at the hospital. After the accident, Principal Weems puts the school on lockdown, while Miss Thornhill encourages Wednesday to continue working on her novel. Never one to follow orders, she instead tricks Tyler and Enid, taking the group to the Gates mansion that same night. At the mansion, the trio discovers loads of evidence, including the car that hit Mayor Walker, a jewelry box belonging to the deceased Laurel Gates, a hidden altar, and even the missing body parts from the victims of the monster. Their search is interrupted when the monster attacks, scratching Tyler and forcing them to flee. When Sheriff Galpin returns to the mansion to follow up on their findings, everything has vanished, causing him to further doubt Wednesday's story. Back at Nevermore, Principal Weems forgives Wednesday for sneaking out of school and gives her one last chance before she is expelled. However, Enid is not as lenient, as she chastises Wednesday for her manipulative behavior and moves out of the dorm for a few days. As Wednesday inspects Laurel Gates' jewelry box, she finds a hidden compartment with secret photos of her, suggesting that someone at the mansion has been watching her investigation from afar. With the truth inching ever closer, the night ends on a deadly note, as a mysterious figure breaks into the hospital and kills Mayor Walker. The entirety of Jericho mourns the death of Mayor Walker, but Wednesday knows she's close to discovering the truth. When her wacky Uncle Fester secretly comes to Nevermore to visit for a few days, he identifies the monster as a rare beast called a hide. For more information, he directs her to the diary of Nevermore's founder, Nathaniel Faulkner, which she finds in the Nightshade's secret library. The diary explains hides as creatures born of mutation, which are often awakened and controlled by a master to carry out evil deeds. To take her mind off things, Tyler asks her out on a date that night at the Crackstone Crypt. The pair enjoy a picnic and come close to kissing, but are interrupted by Sheriff Galpin as he searches the woods. To make matters worse, she returns to her dorm room and finds it ransacked, with the diary missing and Thing fatally wounded. Luckily, Uncle Fester is able to resuscitate Thing, but the attack only further drives Wednesday to unmask the culprit. Later, Principal Weems admits to knowing about the diary and the existence of hides, but as usual, kept things a secret to protect the school's reputation. A new clue emerges when Wednesday learns that Mayor Walker was looking into Laurel Gates before he was killed. According to his research, it's possible that Laurel faked her own death and has returned to Jericho to enact revenge on Nevermore. Suspecting that Dr. Kinbit is Laurel in disguise, Wednesday confronts the psychiatrist at her office, but she denies everything and is immediately attacked and killed by the monster once Wednesday leaves. Convinced that Xavier is the Hyde, Wednesday confronts him in his art studio and has Sheriff Galpin arrest him. Feeling vindicated, she is even happier when Enid forgives her and moves back into their dorm room. With a brand new lease on life, she even visits Tyler at the coffee shop, finally kissing him. As their lips touch, she's struck by a vision of the Hyde killing Dr. Kinbit, revealing Tyler to be the monster after all. Dumbstruck at the revelation, she runs off into the night, left in disbelief. With the help of some of the Nightshade members, Wednesday confronts and captures Tyler and interrogates him about being the Hyde. When Principal Weems catches wind of the kidnapping and informs Sheriff Galpin, Wednesday earns a trip to the police station, but it seems her suspicions were right. Whispering to Wednesday, Tyler confesses to the killings and threatens her with more chaos to come. Ruining her last chance with Principal Weems, Wednesday is expelled from Nevermore, but she makes a final stop at the hospital to visit Eugene, who has woken up from his coma. When recalling the details of his attack, Eugene's memory is hazy, but he distinctly remembers the suspect wearing red boots. Instantly, Wednesday realizes that Miss Thornhill is actually Laurel Gates and accuses her of controlling Tyler as the Hyde. Although Miss Thornhill confesses, it comes at a dire cost, as she poisons Principal Weems and kidnaps Wednesday, dragging her to the Crackstone Crypt. After Thing informs the Nightshade of Wednesday's kidnapping, they get ready to evacuate the school while Enid goes to rescue her. In the crypt, Laurel divulges her master plan to bring Joseph Crackstone back from the dead by using the Book of Shadows. Completing the last step of her scheme, Laurel uses Wednesday's blood to unlock Crackstone's sarcophagus, reviving the spirit in corporeal form. Rising from his grave, the vengeful spirit stabs Wednesday and leaves her bleeding out on the crypt floor. Miraculously, she is healed by the spirit of Goody, using her mother's lucky necklace, but quickly runs into Tyler in the woods. Gruesomely morphing into his Hyde form, Tyler attacks Wednesday, but she is saved by Enid, who finally achieves her first werewolf transformation. As Enid fights off Tyler, Joseph Crackstone finally arrives at Nevermore, setting the school ablaze. Fulfilling the Nightshade prophecy, Wednesday duels him in the courtyard, wielding a hefty sword. Although Crackstone gains the upper hand during the battle, Bianca distracts him, giving Wednesday the opportunity for a killing blow. Stabbing him in the heart, Wednesday obliterates Crackstone's soul, saving Nevermore for good. When Miss Thornhill appears and threatens to shoot Wednesday, Eugene swoops in to save the day, stinging her into submission with his loyal bees. With classes canceled for the rest of the semester, the students say their goodbyes as Nevermore closes its doors. Reflecting on the sacrifice of Principal Weems, Wednesday apologizes to Xavier and says farewell to the rest of her new friends. While her work is done for now, she has a sneaking suspicion that she's not quite done with Jericho, and that more mysteries are waiting to be solved.
My very first stalker. Unlike my novel, not every thread has been tied up, nor every question answered. Secrets are still lurking in the dark corners of Jericho. Were Laurel, Gates, and Tyler just pawns in a bigger game? Will today's stalker become tomorrow's nemesis? I know the suspense is killing you.
you.